And I'm a member of All of Us None. I'm a father of 3. I'm a formerly incarcerated person. And I'm also a proud supporter of the hunger strike. You know? And they've asked me to speak a little bit about some of the artwork. But before I even venture off doing so, I wanted to do something impromptu. How many here have heard about the hunger strike being led by gang members? Right? Let's be honest, right? So, I would be classified inside the state penitentiary as an norteño under the Nuestra Familia umbrella, right? Because that's supposedly that father norteño. And there's many of us here who've been part of organizations, or there's people that have been involved in different stuff, or because we were black, brown, white, up north, and south, we were classified that way. But I wanted to share that the reflection of my brothers here, who will briefly introduce themselves. My brother here, Jerry, will work closely with All of Us None. My brother Danny, Murillo, and my brother here, Stephen. Right? And we're all representative in some ways of the men inside, all the men in different state penitentiaries who are on hunger strike. And we can all proudly say that no one is mandating us, no one is telling us what to do. We do this because we see the torture firsthand inside. Wow. We do this because we know that if we don't stop this now, my grandchildren might be subject to the same practices that's going on with Todd Ashker, with Antonio Guillen, with Arturo Castellano, with Sitawa, with Johnny, with many of the brothers inside, as well as some of the sisters who are probably in Chowchilla being tortured. I was asked to talk a little bit about some of the artwork, and I'm going to do that. I'm going to give the floor because I don't want to take up so much time. And I know we all have a busy day, so first of all, foremost, thank you for coming out here. Thank you. To me, it's great to see this whole place. It's more than welcome. Jam-packed. This, some of the artwork you see around here, in fact, most of it comes from people who not only doing time, but are doing time in the most egregious of conditions, barbaric, you know. Imagine being in a cage 23 hours a day, the size of your bathroom. Right? No cell phone, no access to internet, no computer, no television. In some cases there is television, but no access to another human being besides that of a guard or medical staff who's instructed you not to talk to these guys because they're the worst of the worst. Right? Imagine that for a couple of days. Some of us couldn't do half a day. Some of these people have been doing that for 3 or 4 or 5 decades. Hugo Pinel. He's been down since, what, 60-something, 49 years. 43 in solitary confinement. And still, this brother's one of my mentors. So obviously some of these people who've been considered castaways, throwaways, are still inspiring many of us to continue. So this letter that has been written by a brother named Chris. He said, "My name is Christopher Chris Garcia, and I've become familiar with you and your organization from donating my artwork for the fundraising cause. I was supposed to get some photos of the event scheduled for late July, but there have been so many other things taking place. Let me fast forward. I was involved in all 3 hunger strikes, and currently I'm housed at CSP SAC from Pelican Bay SHU on high-risk medical transfer. I was one of the 7 for other prisoners transferred on August 3rd, 2013. On August 9th, I had to end my hunger strike, and this is why. I've been suffering from chronic headaches and fainting spells that were to the point of blacking out. Each time I brought this to Pelican Bay State Prison Medical, they would simply brush it off and give me aspirin or something and send me back to my cell. These mild fainting spells became more frequent during this last hunger strike. I did eventually pass out, black out, and came to on the floor with bumps on my head and forehead. These injuries were observed by Pelican Bay State Prison Medical. They just did not do anything for me by way of concussion exam. He keeps on going. However, a week or so later, I was here in even more hazardous condition. Us 8 prisoners from the Bay were placed in CSP SAC as safe, further icing this by placing us in a 14-cell tier, alone and far away from anybody. This was extremely difficult to get any staff's attention The pretext was medical, but I strongly feel they brought us here to die. I'm going to fast forward, it's a long letter. On 8/9/13, which is August 9th, I felt I reached a point where I needed to make a decision. I felt as in my best interest to end my hunger strike and seek medical treatment for my conditions while here. But since I came off hunger strike, no one has taken my situation seriously. Today is August 17th, 2013. At 2:30 a.m., I had to get out for a man down. I woke up on the floor with bumps on my head from banging myself against the cement walls and floor. I was taken to the main clinic at the institution and scheduled to see a doctor. No exam was taken. My head is throbbing. I vomited and still feel like I'm on a small boat in the middle of the ocean. Then he talks about he needs to be examined, and then he finished it off on my best Chris, and he wrote P.S. August 18th. I've decided to begin fasting until I see the doctor tomorrow. Depending on what he does, I'm ready to resume my hunger strike. I began my fast today by refusing lunch, later dinner, and all other meals until I'm evaluated by the doctor. I'll write you again within a day or two. I also wrote Chief Medical Officer Bao and explained my conditions. All the guys who made it down here after hunger striking for 30 plus days need some support. An advocate speaking out for us. We have not heard anything from no one. These people are trying desperately to sweep it all under the rug. Send some help, Carol. SOS. The artwork that was produced by this brother named Chris, if people can see it at the entrance, the manila envelope, under the sign that says Section 2, the yellow envelope, that's some of his artwork, as well as another piece towards the back that says on the outside looking in, or no, the closer I get to you. Right, and there's more work. So people have seen it, right? So in that note, right, I think this letter speaks volume to what's really going on inside. And I will step back to allow my brothers here to share a little bit.
So this is my son. And yeah, so people have been asking me a lot about my experience in solitary confinement. I was in solitary confinement for 8 years. And so, you know, it's almost like I don't even want to tell them that, I don't even want to tell them my experience, because my experience has always been like, it could be worse, you know? So when I see, like when I got to Pelican Bay, I had been so made, you know, solitary confinement was such a part of my life that I was actually, you know, comforted by being alone. And I was, you know, my life had come to this, it was completely void of any kind of a desire for self-preservation or desire for, you know, any kind of, except for, I want to talk about this TV thing, by the way. There's this TV, like, I had a TV in my cell, and I couldn't turn it on. I would turn it on, and within half an hour I had to turn it off, because I knew it was killing me in some way. You know, I knew that it was, I would try to engage, you know, I would try to like get into, maybe there'd be a little soap opera thing, and I'm like, this is the worst kind of, torture, propaganda that, and I wouldn't participate in it, to tell you the truth. I would read and stuff like that. But I guess the point I was trying to make earlier was, when I read some of the statements from the people that are in there now, and the artwork and the statements next to the artwork and the poetry, I am humbled, because these people, I was in the same situation they're in, you know, at least physically, and they're like fighting for their humanity, you know, and they're fighting for justice. Like, these are like freedom fighters that are never getting out of prison. These are like people that are like standing in solidarity with Guantanamo Bay, right? But when I was, I just wanted to know where I was going to get some more cookies, you know, or maybe if I could get somebody to send me a little letter to entertain me for half an hour, you know. And so for me to, you know, I'm not standing here because I'm an ex-incarcerated person, right? Because, you know, I don't have anything to gain from this, you know, coming to a successful conclusion, except that these people are standing up, these people are putting their foot down, you know, they're being, they're receiving every kind of, you know, the CDC is imposing every kind of countermeasure that they can come up with. They can bring all of their billions of dollars and all of their community support and all of their corporate support to bear on these handful of people, right? And they're blasting them with cold air, they're refusing them medical attention, and it's just making them stronger. You know, many of them, I feel like the movement is coalescing. You know, it's becoming, like, from day 1 till here we are at day 47. And the more they do, the worse off they are, I think. So, thank you for being here. I mean, I don't, you know, just thank you.
Hello everybody, my name is Manuel. I'm also a formerly incarcerated person. I spent about 14 years in, I did my first sentence was about 14 years, and my second one, my first one was about 6 months in a juvenile facility, but a total of 15 years I spent against the system. And that was always something that, you know, I knew it was going to happen. You know? Growing up where I grew up, it was kind of like self-fulfilled prophecy to, you know, end up road and end up, and you know, so then to be here, you know, and then I don't know, just it's you know, I'm here because I'm gonna say that because I've been through that shit, you know, I've been through the torture, I've been through the isolation, you know, the disrespect, you know, just, you know, constantly doing certain things. You know, when you step out of your cell, you always got to strip down. And not only are they stripping your clothes, but you're also trying to strip your dignity. You know, but you find ways to resist that. You know, and for me, you know, when I was going to Pelican Bay Shoe, you know, I was up. You know, I wanted to go there. You know, I wanted to go to Pelican Bay Shoe. You know, that's how. You know, so, but when I get there, when I get there, and you know, you start, you know, first day out there, first day in the yard, you go out there, you knock on the door, you go to the door, hey, who's this? Is it homie from Norwalk? What's up, man? Like, oh, okay, so, you know, on the other side is a guy from Boyle Heights, from LA. And so we're both, you know, we're both Southsiders, so we start chopping it up. And I just met the dude, and the conversation kind of, you know, goes in the direction of, you know, hey, how much time you got? I go, I still got some time to go. I ain't fucking tripping on that shit. I got 5 years to go. And he's like, yo, homie, that's bullshit, man. You know, you gotta start thinking about making a plan now. By the time you get out, if you ain't got a plan, I mean, best bet you're gonna come back. You know, and at that time, getting to the shoe, I was already kind of going through a process of, you know, of being a little bit more conscientious. I think this kind of happened really around 9/11. I mean, I remember at 9/11 being in the hole, and the day that the tower went down. We go out to the yard 2-3 days later, and all the homies, all the Sudanos, and oh fuck that, send me to Iraq or send me to Afghanistan, I'll go there. And I'm hearing everybody say this, and I'm stepping back, and I start questioning some of the dudes. Think about it, yo. You're talking about going to war for the same dudes that are making the policies to hold you here. It doesn't make sense, huh? Does it? And that's kind of where my consciousness kind of grew out of, you know, that whole incident with 9/11. And then you start reading the history of, you know, imperialism and things like that, and how it just is rooted in American society, you know? And now I just kind of, you know, so just being in the shoe, you know, like Sparky said that he wouldn't watch TV. For me, you know, I wouldn't say TV was my refuge, but just certain stations, you know, definitely Monday through Friday, 9 in the morning, Democracy Now! Definitely every Friday at 9 o'clock, Bill Moyer's Journal. Every Tuesday, 9 o'clock, Frontline. 10 o'clock, POV. 8 o'clock Nova, you know, and these are all just programs that I was constantly watching. And if I wasn't watching that, then we were studying, reading, or playing chess, or doing some kind of arts and crafts. And for me, and I guess what I want to try to say, though, even though the shoe is designed to torture you, though, it's designed strictly for dignity, somehow, some way, we find ways to resist that. And for me, it was through education.
Mine will be short because I want everybody to leave with something in their hand. This is a worthy cause to support. But my name is Jerry. I did close to 27 years on a life sentence inside. I've been out there for 4 years. I'm still on life on parole. I did my last shoe term in '89 when they opened up the Supermax's Corcoran first again in Pelican Bay. I was that close, leaving Patrick Max ship, that close to being in Pelican Bay. I looked at those draped shoe yards, and I think about, like he was talking about, watching TV in your cell, talking to the homeboys through the gates. I got to do all that. These guys in the short quarter don't get that. One guy has been in the hole now in the short quarter for almost 20 years for speaking through a crack in the wall through his homeboy. You know, and so, I mean, my hat is off to these men. Like you said, I guess when things get tough, guys find a way to endure it. When I was in the shoe, I think I lost my mind, right? And I couldn't even picture. I did 5 years. I couldn't even picture doing 10 and 15. I made a resolution for myself, man. When I come up out of here, I'm doing it. When I went in, I was a knucklehead. I was a Crip out of Los Angeles. I was a knucklehead. But when I seen how deep I had buried myself, when they got to using language back then, it was called indeterminate shoes and stuff. When I got an indeterminate shoe sentence, it was like, what does that mean, right? That means we're going to have to let you out until we decide. I heard that language before when I got sentenced, when I was sentenced to life. What does that mean? You'll get out when we decide you can get out, or you'll die here. So the two going together, I made a decision. I had to start thinking about saving myself. And I changed my life, right? I got out the shoe, but it's not as easy as people would think out here. When you make a decision, a conscious decision there, you still are under so many barriers, political things, and the administration, they still want to hold these things over you. That was my last disciplinary in 1989. I didn't get out until 2009. I went through 19 different evaluation hearings for suitability. I got 3 different found suitable for parole 3 different times, and they let me get to doing these snatching me back under the pretext that I was a gang member. Not only was I a gang member, they said I was a gang leader. So that 5 years cost me the next 20-something years in the penitentiary under those same dices. So they said that a kid that went in prison at 19 was a gang leader. I'm like, well, man, you had people here that was 40 years old, real gang leaders, you still holding me up under this? I mean, come on, man. The point I'm trying to make is, whenever the department decides they want to villainize you, they pull out this ambiguous titles, these labels they want to hang on you. Don't be fooled by the labels. These are human beings. These men are freedom fighters. In prison, you don't cross the racial divide. You don't, like you see us standing up here now, you don't cross the racial divide if you're with that. You don't cross the gang. Me, him, and Manuel wouldn't be standing by each other in prison. You don't cross that when you're with that. So the CDCR knows they're full of shit. Because if them guys was really about the gang stuff, still about the foolishness, they wouldn't even talk to each other. But it meets their purpose. Now, I'm not saying these guys weren't ever part of some type of group or something at one time, but like myself, they woke up, became conscious, but that's not what CDC wants. CDC wants to keep putting them up there as the worst of the worst. They want to keep. Think about it. How many jobs can you go on the entry level and almost clear 100,000 a year? CDCR officers getting 100,000 on overtime. They don't want that to go away. They need to keep these guys in. And I need to see y'all do some big shot. Great call.
On this table have jars for people to write notes to the artists. There's nothing that would make them happier at this point. Some of these people are still on hunger strike, and they could use any morsel of compassion and friendliness and kindness. So please write them notes. We're going to mail it to them and make sure that they get them, and it will be very much appreciated.
And also, please honor the women who helped put this together.
Yes.
Most of the time, I'm sharing that it's all the time about men, even if women doing the work. The people that put this work together, majority, in fact, not all, were women. So Azadeh, Laura, and Mariela, thank you.
I have really quick things, I promise. One, I forgot to thank Molly, and Molly brought the beautiful altar that's in the back of the shoe, and you should really bring it, you should see it, it has statements from the men inside. And then we're also going to extend the bidding time, because this one a little longer, yeah, which is great, it's wonderful. So the section 2 and what's left of section 1 will end at 8:45 and 8:30, so you bid. Go, bid! Thank you so much for being here.